Hey, you guys, welcome back for our daily practice questions. As always, I like to get into my introduction and disclaimer before starting in our questions or any content for today. For those of you who are familiar with me, hey, y'all. For those of you who are new here, welcome, 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 you guys. I am Dr. Brittany Weinstock. I am a family nurse practitioner and I am the founder and CEO of the Nursing Studio. I provide resources, tools, courses, and videos to assist nurses as well as nurse practitioners with success on boards as well as in practice. I've been doing this since 2015, assisting nurses and nurse practitioners internationally with exam success, and I would love to help you as well. Now, everybody has different learning styles, and I try with my courses to teach in various fashions so that you can read it, you can see it if you're a visual learner, and giving you mnemonics to kind of help tie it together, audio included, so you can listen on the go, but just giving you various tools and tactics, quizzes to help apply the knowledge. To tie it all together and try to meet the needs of all of your learning styles. But also, I am a person that teaches in a way to eliminate all of the fluff. Um, we've gone through school, and sometimes you need more than that. And if you do, and we're doing certain sessions, I will give you that more. But my initial thing is to help you and eliminate all the fluff. You receive the fluff in school, so you have an overall understanding and knowledge. But now you need to just sit down and zone in and focus in on what are the need to know so that you can have clarity in those areas that might be a little cloudy for you, right? So I'm that no fluff girl. I'm going to give it straight to you. We're going to talk assessment, diagnosis, evaluation, and treatment. If you listen to me or have done any of my things, you know that's my soapbox and that's what we flow through, right? But I just do these things to give you more of like a easier guideline of studying. So you'll see that in my videos. You'll see that in how I go through the question styles and everything as well. And I always get this question, and I'm going on a rant, but I always get this question on what material should you utilize to study, how, etc. And I know I have videos on this, but I just want to say this: pick things that work based off of your learning needs. Overall, all of the review material, we're all teaching the same stuff, right? We're not creating medicine, So we're teaching you what is on here. But make sure that you are learning the things that are currently being tested. There's so many variances based off of what is currently on the exam, and just staying on top of those things and learning people's teaching styles. Go out here, see what they offer and what works best for you. I might not be the best person for you, and I may be the best person for you. Like I said, I am the no fluff. You may prefer to have more detailed or whatever. I am pretty chill, gonna give you a mnemonics. You might not like that. You may love it. So pick what works for you. Same with which test to take. I get that question. And I always say go based off of how you test, how you learn. ANCC ended up being good for me because it gave me versatility. It gave me visuals. It gave me some multiple choice. It gave me some drag and drop. It gave me some select the best three. It just gave my mind a variance, and that's how I execute well. The AAMP is good, um, but for me, the test anxiety and fatigue, because of the large scenarios over and over and over, wasn't what was best for me. So I just say utilize what's best for you. Now I went on a whole rant, but for my disclaimer that I always say before I get into material is that, hey, we know there's no absolute medicine. So we treat on a patient by patient basis. If you are looking at my questions, I am giving you questions and have designed and created these based on the current guidelines that are being tested on the ANCC and AANP. Y'all, I practice. I know that there are differences in what we do currently in practice. We know how much medicine is ever changing, right? And with that knowledge, pay attention to that. And there's going to be gaps. There's going to be variances and things you may see in this book, in this course, and these things because there are changes. So when I'm giving you these questions, it's directly on the test now. I did a video on the new test because now the AAMP released theirs in January of this year, and so now theirs and ANCC are along the same lines. They usually update every 3 to 5 years or so. And so these guidelines, these questions that I'm giving you are based on that. So gear your mind to that. I hope that is helpful. If I'm teaching on something that we're currently doing in practice, I will always say that so there's no confusion. But utilize these questions to kind of just gear your mind to what you can potentially expect on the exam, and just gearing your mind on how to apply the information that you have. I really do this to kind of gauge your knowledge, give you something to study on the go, to utilize it in a structured format to say, all right, yep, I know how to apply this. And if you miss it, listening to the walkthrough to kind of help you and gear your mind in that format. Okay. So with all of that being said, because I usually don't go that deep, but I felt led to just give y'all that information as well. But with all of that, let's get into question number 1 for today. All right, question number 1. A patient presents to the office today for follow-up. Upon examination, the nurse practitioner notes a high-pitched diastolic murmur at the base of the heart. Based on these findings, how should the nurse practitioner document this type of murmur? Is it A, mitral stenosis, B, aortic stenosis, C, aortic regurgitation, or D, mitral regurgitation? Take a moment and tell me what you got in the comments. All right, you guys, I always recommend reading the stem of the question first, right? I know you think it's crazy. You may not want to do it, or you're that person that we know that we should do this, and you just feel like, I don't have time for all that. Do it. Trust me, because you're on the test. Your mind is clouded by all the information, and you're running it all through your head. You've read this long scenario. You're processing it through, and sometimes we can create our own storyline, and then we're not even answering what they're asking us, right? So slow down, read that stem of the question so you can ensure that you're answering what's being asked of you. So the stem of the question here says, based on these findings, how should the nurse practitioner document this type of murmur? Okay, so let's take it back and see what they're describing. The nurse practitioner notes a high-pitched diastolic murmur at the base of the heart. Now, you guys, if you've been listening to me, I say it enough. With murmurs, I know there's so much detail, but knowing these couple of things, you will get it correct every time when we're prepping for boards. Okay, so if you know whether it is systolic versus diastolic, you need to know that. And the location, mitral and aortic. Again, I know there's more, but knowing mitral and aortic, you're going to get this correct. Okay, so systolic versus diastolic, there's so many mnemonics. Go with whatever you know. Me, Brittany's brilliance, I say men really are stupid is the sassy systolic statement, right? So for systolic, men really is your mitral regurgitation, are stupid, aortic stenosis. So those are systolic, and diastolic are the opposite of those, right? So this right here tells us it's a diastolic murmur. So we're going to go ahead and narrow that down. So men really is systolic, right? MR. So we can eliminate D, are stupid, aortic stenosis. We can eliminate D and B. So we're stuck with our mitral stenosis and our aortic regurgitation. This is how I want you to break it down on the test and thank me later. Then, where is it located? So there's two common things they'll tell you when we're looking at the location of these particular murmurs. So it's either going to be second intercostal space at the base of the heart, right? So second intercostal is aortic, base is aortic. Fifth intercostal is mitral, and apex is mitral, okay? So this tells us base. Which one is at the base? It's aortic, right? So what do we have? C, aortic regurgitation, right? Because we said that the two that were left are A and C, either mitral stenosis or aortic regurgitation because they're diastolic. And then based on the location of where it was found, the base is around the second intercostal space, so it's aortic regurgitation. All right, let's get into question number 2. A patient presents to the office today with complaints of an elevated blood sugar reading in the morning. He states that he takes metformin 500 milligrams PO twice a day as prescribed. What is the next best action of the nurse practitioner? Is it A, add a second oral anti-diabetic agent in the morning? B, have the patient to check his blood glucose in the morning and at bedtime for 1 week and return for follow-up? C, add a long-acting insulin? Or D, increase the metformin dose? Take a moment and tell me what you got in the comments. All right, you guys, stem of the question states, what is the next best action for the nurse practitioner? All right, let's see what's going on. So this patient comes in for follow-up today, and they're stating that they have elevated blood sugars in the morning, right? He's taking metformin 500 twice a day, continuing to have these elevated blood sugars in the morning. All right, so would you add in a second oral anti-diabetic agent in the morning? I mean, you may need to at some point, right? Would you have the patient to check his blood glucose in the morning and at bedtime for a week and return for follow up? Absolutely. First, let's take a step back. The STEM says, what is the next best action? The next thing that you should do is have that patient go home, check early morning before 8 a.m. blood sugar readings and bedtime readings, and keep a log and come back and follow up. And you're doing this because of what? We want to be able to differentiate if this could potentially be Samoji effect or Dawn's phenomenon, right? And if you're not assessing the morning and nighttime, you can't fully come up with a treatment plan, right? Because let's think about that. If we just go standard and look at it and say, oh, okay, your blood sugars are elevated in the morning, let's go ahead and treat that. You may be addressing the wrong thing. You may not even be addressing what the problem is, right? Because think about Samoji effect. With the Samoji effect, they have hypoglycemia at bedtime, and as the body compensates, there's a rebound effect causing those early morning hyperglycemia. So with Samoji, we treat the cause, the source of the hypoglycemia. So we may need to stop the metformin in the evening for this particular patient, or the patient may need a snack, or etc., so that they're not having that nighttime hypoglycemia, which is leading to that morning hyperglycemia, right? If we just went ahead and treated that morning hyperglycemia, they would consistently still have it because we didn't treat the source. So what you need to first do is identify what they really have. And to confirm that diagnosis, you need to have them to check the blood glucose in the morning and at bedtime, and then return for follow-up so that you can gauge what's going on, see the pattern, and treat accordingly. And I always talk about assessment, diagnosis, evaluation, and treatment. Always gear your mind into that picture. Slow yourself down. See this person in front of you and work through it. Because let's think about it. Even though I didn't say it in those terms this time, that's exactly what we just did. The patient came in, gave us their chief complaint, told us what medicines we're on. This is still the assessment, right? We're trying to get to the diagnosis, not directly to a treatment. If you add in a oral anti-diabetic agent or add a long-acting insulin, you went straight to a treatment, right? You need to do something to confirm a diagnosis to even know what you need to treat, right? So the next step in your standard process that we do all the time is to go through this and get a confirmation. And once we get that, then we can gauge on how to treat, right? So B is your best answer. All right, and lastly, question number 3 for today. A patient presents to the office with complaints of a band-like headache. What would be the best treatment for the nurse practitioner to prescribe? Is it A, Tylenol, B, sumatriptan, C, ibuprofen, or D, Imitrex? All right, stem the question states, what would be the best treatment for the nurse practitioner to prescribe? All right, so what do we have here, right? So the patients come in, they having complaints of a band-like headache. Assessment. We know that is classic descriptions and key terms for a what? A tension headache, right? Tension headaches are band-like. Diagnosis. How do you treat tension headaches? First line therapy is an NSAID, right? So C, ibuprofen is your best answer. You can also give Tylenol, but that's after you have attempted the NSAIDs and they either haven't worked or you want to do it, combination therapies with things. But sumatriptan and Imitrex are the same medicine, generic and brand name. Make sure you know both so you're not tripped up or missing things by not knowing your medication names, okay? Guys, I hope you found this helpful. As always, be sure to like, comment, subscribe, and share with whomever you may think may find this beneficial as well. But make sure you meet me back here, okay? And if you need any other resources that we provide at the nursing studio, if our review courses, our review books, our ebook that if you purchase the ebook, you will have instant access to that. That link is in the bio along with the paperback book that will be shipped to you. You can choose either or. Both of those links are in the bio on the channel. Website is also up there so you can see the things that we offer. You can put in a query if you have any questions and want to utilize any of our resources. We have a self-paced review course that is broken down by system with videos that you can watch on the go. Short and sweet style of teaching. It gives you a downloadable PowerPoint workbook that you can work through and see it with images to kind of, because again, like I said, I like to make things visual. With the visuals included, there's a few quizzes per system to gauge where you are as well. We do group courses too, but we're currently in the middle of one. So be on the lookout for those. And then also we do one-on-one sessions. One-on-one sessions, you can either opt for utilizing it for weaknesses to make them your strengths, or the custom package where we work with you where you currently are, gauge where you are, identify those weaknesses, structure a study plan for you, and work alongside with you to take you from unsuccessful to successful. And that pricing is based upon what the duration you are looking for. So say you want to test in 4 weeks and you want to do a 4 week plan, then it's based off of what you need. If you want to do 30-minute sessions each week with the assignments every day, if you want to do 1 hour. So that's why the calls are best to identify what your needs are so that you can get the pricing, or shoot an email so you can identify that, or you can place it in the query on the website. But if you need us, just give us a call at 803 400 6864, or shoot us an email at the nursing studio, the number one, at gmail.com. But as always, you guys, make sure you meet me back here. Happy studying. Bye, y'all.